Welcome to Rock Solid, the Round Rock Business Leaders Podcast. Join your host, Bryan Eisenberg, as he explores the journeys of entrepreneurs and companies across Round Rock, Texas. From startups and nonprofits to large organizations, each guest shares their passion for doing business in this thriving community. Let's dive in.
Hi, everybody. It's Bryan Eisenberg, and welcome to Rock Solid. Today, I'm joined by my good friend Monica von Waaden, a fellow ambassador, and the person behind Hope Austin and Hope Round Rock. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You have such a diverse career that you don't really talk about, right? You started as a special education teacher. You worked in domestic violence advocacy. You're a lawyer, and now you're in food insecurity. What inspired that whole lens to focus in on people who are in most need, but yet rarely can express or even tell people that they're in need? That's what you wanted to focus on. I mean, whole career.
Oh, that's quite the package there. I grew up in a very amazing home by these two amazing parents. My dad was an electrical engineer at White Sands Missile Range, and my mom was an educator.
Okay.
And she taught in the poorest parts of El Paso, Texas, her entire career. That's what she wanted. My parents had these great philanthropic hearts that always instilled in us kids, with great blessings comes great responsibility. So I took that to quite heart. My mom, I remember, would bring home kids when it was safe to do that. There were no regulations. There were always extra people sitting at our table, always. She was always packing extra food to take. So we saw that. And my dad, being the brilliant man that he was, he insisted that those kids who came into our home be part of the science fairs. He wanted them to learn. There was always projects going on that he was helping them navigate, because in their homes, that was not something the parents in that exact moment couldn't offer their children. So my dad offered that. So I grew up in a home that was just filled with philanthropy. So that's where I learned it.
You know, there's a lot of people who talk about food insecurity. It's definitely a big issue in Texas. I think, in our area, it's one in four.
One in four children.
One in four children. And probably getting worse, I imagine, right now. So, definitely a big concern. And most people think it's just about getting them a snack or something like that. But you've taken a whole different approach, because it's not just about that insecurity of not having food, but it's about development for you, and it's about really empowering them, not filling their bag up with crap, right? The carbonated drinks or the processed foods or refined sugars. You're avoiding all of that. You're really trying to fuel them. Again, different mindset than most who are trying to deal with that issue. What's given you that direction as opposed to the standard, well, we're just going to get them whatever we can get them, if it's Oreos, if it's whatever?
Correct. So as a backpack organization, that's what we're known as, but we have evolved. We're of the mindset that an education is the best commodity we can give our children. An education will break generational lines of poverty and allow best learning outcomes for our children, and that will carry them through the good educational system that is here in Central Texas and Round Rock, and then as well as when it comes to those competitive markets that they will be entering for jobs or college. And we need to keep in mind that those kids will continue to be part of our community right here in Round Rock, and they must be prepared to benefit this community as well as benefit from the community. And that means here and now they have to reap the benefit of the quality education that goes on right here. And our kids are already at a nutritional deficit. Therefore, we want to make sure that the food that we give them make the impact that they need, so that their bodies run like they're supposed to, and their brains are firing at all levels for best learning outcomes.
Okay, so let's take a typical backpack. A lot of people probably see them around. It's chips, it's cookies, it's fruit roll-ups. Let's talk about what yours looks like a little differently than those.
Correct. So currently our backpack meal kits for the weekend are 68 to 73 grams of protein. And we tried to, and we are shelf stable only in that program, remove all that ultra processed food. So we do put in nutritional granola bars made by Cooper Street. They are whole grain. They have quinoa, buckwheat, real fruit, cherries, dark cherries, blueberries, and they have less than half the sugar that the typical granola bar does. These aren't candy bars.
Yeah.
We also do something called a backpack yogurt, which is a shelf-stable, real calcium, real protein to fuel that necessary ingredient that our kids need. We also have, I know we all love ramen, but ramen is nothing but a bucket of salt.
Yep.
We have removed that product from our kits, and we have ability to get a product called a woodle. And a woodle is a whole grain, half the salt, protein-filled cup of noodles that is good for you. Dare we say ramen is good for you.
Yeah.
But this one is. We also do almonds, we do sunflower seeds, and items like that to make sure our kids are getting healthy products. Oh, and we also do whole grain, reduced sugar cereals.
There's a lot of lessons I kind of want you to share with our community because, as an ambassador, you're out there always trying to support our community. And obviously, it's all you do with all the kids, and we're talking about over 5,000 kids a week that you're affecting. But I think there's bigger lessons that you can share because you've had a successful franchise business, right, in the food space. What are the lessons from your law degree, from teaching, from all this that you can bring in that you realize you see a lot of business owners struggle with that have made you also successful in what you're doing with Hope Austin?
Correct. So, first of all, always in my mindset is there are no failures, only lessons learned.
It's so important.
Totally. Unless you try something, you don't know if it's going to work. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, it wasn't for your model in that particular moment.
The funny thing is, my first book, first self-published book, my mentor always used to say this line, and we dedicated the book to him and his wife. It says, to Roy and Penny, and we misspelt his wife's name purposely, because in the acknowledgments we put it incorrectly, and said, if anything worth doing is worth doing wrong. And then you learn from it.
Yes.
It's fine.
And as we evolve, there will be mistakes, but you have to take those, dare I say, risks to evolve, to better yourself for the people that you are serving or who are buying from you, your customers. Evolving is the key, I believe, to success.
Life is constantly full of change. And if you don't adapt, look, I mean, we can look at companies that were successful for 100 years. I mean, we just had David Valdez, who's, well-known photographer. Right. Kodak was the biggest brand, one of the biggest brands in the world, right? We talked about when he was with the president, 65,000 rolls of film. Mm-hmm. You don't hear about Kodak anymore. Mm-hmm. They didn't evolve. Even though they invented the digital camera, they didn't believe that was the right thing to suit their customers, and we know what happened to them. So
exactly, change is inevitable, and you have to be able to change along with it for the benefits to be seen.
And I also like to look at it from an operations point of view, because obviously what you're doing is fairly complex, right? You're those 5,000 students. How many different ISDs in it? How many volunteers are you doing? Like, let's kind of talk about that scale.
So, right, we have evolved. We used to be a simple backpack organization serving on the weekends only. Over our 10 years, we have evolved to have 8 distinct nutritional programs to keep our kids well nourished. We have our weekend. We have our snack support for during the school day that also protects our educators. We have a fresh food program. We have a hot food program. We have a teen pregnancy program, all the things. And that requires, and none of this is rocket science, but it does require a lot of organizational logistics because we take our food directly to our kids' work at the school. So we have 60-ish drivers that spread the Central Texas Metroplex each and every week delivering. And that also means we have to have a lot of volunteers within the unit to pack everything up that goes out to our students. So we have lots of volunteers from all segments of the community to come in and volunteer, make the kits that help us be ready, because we have to have 5,000 kits each and every week ready to go.
And getting ready to expand again.
Yes, we're going to take on Hutto, it looks like, in the spring or the fall of 2026 school year.
When you first started this it was a little, what do you call it?
It was a
storage unit.
Storage unit.
Could you have imagined you'd have had the impact that you're having now?
Never in my wildest did I begin to envision that we would have grown the way we have. We were in a 5x6 storage unit. The model of inefficiency, I will tell you, because it was what we could afford at the time, we had to bag outside, set up and take down each and every time. Now we're in this, what we consider luxurious space off Anderson Mill. And is it small right now? It's cramped, yes. But the location is phenomenal for what we do. And we're very, I'll use the word blessed, to be able to serve out of that space.
And it's not only serving, because I think one of the biggest things a lot of people think about when, they hear non-for-profits, a lot of them, you look at things like Charity Navigator and you see how much of donations are going to, basic salaries and stuff like that. And you guys haven't taken anything out of this. You're really doing this to have a major impact. 10 years of doing that. What does that say about you or the program or the need or the community you're serving?
Well, first, I don't think it says anything about me personally. I am just so lucky to be a part of what goes on. We set a path, and together we are driving along that path, navigating, making corrections and speeding ahead as we can, making sure that we can make sure our kids are well nourished. Like I've said numerous times, it's not rocket science, but it is an essential part of what needs to happen. Food is a basic necessity.
Yeah.
It's the fuel that keeps driving us. So, that's kind of where we're at.
And it's also all volunteers.
Everyone is a volunteer, including myself.
Yep.
Yes. All of my driver operations lady is a volunteer. All the packers are volunteers. All of our drivers are volunteers. And we're so lucky that our volunteers are such amazing, dedicated individuals. They generally sign up for an entire semester at a time.
Okay.
And then they sign up for the next semester as well, both semesters during the school year. They don't get paid. And they are such dedicated individuals because they see the value of our mission. They drive the mission.
I imagine you probably have some that have been with you probably 9+ years at this point.
Yes, 9+ years. And Hope Austin is about relationships as well.
Yeah.
We love it when we see our drivers pull up every Wednesday. We make our deliveries on Wednesday. Oh, look, it's Audrey, it's David, it's so-and-so. And when our drivers go to those campuses, nowadays, the school districts see who's coming up. Everything has cameras. When our drivers pull up, our campuses know, oh, it's the Hope Austin driver. It's Kathy. It's John. Great. Let's make sure that card is up. And they're so happy to see them. When I happen to talk with a principal, I always get a gracious comment about one of our drivers. Oh, your driver, Kathy, she's amazing. She makes us laugh. And she asks us about us as well. How are you doing today? And our drivers are fueling the relationships as well.
Do you get a chance to hear from the kids about the impact that the program's had on them?
We do. Oftentimes, our school districts will have their students write thank you notes to them. And on occasion, it's not part of the program, but on occasion, we will see a student who receives our services. I'll tell you a brief story about one. It was last summer, and it made an impact on me. I had been delivering all summer because we do deliver during the summer because hunger does not take a vacation.
Yep.
And this young lady, she's a second grader, I know that, at one of the campuses in the Round Rock ISD. I'd seen her at every single drop. And on the last one, she goes, I wanted to tell you something. And I looked at her, I go, what do you want to tell me? She goes, I know you. I go, how do you know me? And she goes, well, I don't know your name, but I know that you feed me, and that really makes my mommy very happy. So I do know you. And that was the end of the conversation. So those little encounters would have a big impact on what we do at Hope Austin, because those are the pebbles that keep us going. Because oftentimes we don't know what goes on in our service because we don't disseminate, our educators disseminate. And it doesn't change our service model one iota because we'll do the same things. The fact that we don't know their names is irrelevant.
This year, Leadership Round Rock decided that Hope Austin needed to be the charity they were going to work for. So every leadership class that goes out there, there's always a charity. A couple of years, I think it was last year, was Rock Ride Center with Kara Powell's been a former guest. And this year it was you. And I'm curious, what was your first reaction when you heard that they chose you out of the countless number of nonprofits that we have in our community?
Right. I will say overwhelmed. When I saw the list, I was like, wow, look at those amazing heavy hitters doing such amazing work in this community, run by some fantastic EDs and the people that fuel those organizations. I was like, well, this is great. I wonder, I had my guess who was going to win or get the benefit. And when they said it was me, I almost lost it because I was like, wow, I'm deeply honored that they would select Hope Austin, and they're really doing a lot to benefit the children we serve together because the children of Round Rock need them.
Yeah. What do you think was behind them choosing you versus all the others out there?
I want to say that the mission is a good mission, providing an education for kids who need. We are consistent, we are dedicated, and we know this is about community, and we do it together as a community for community.
Lots of people probably, get asked about different nonprofits and donating and stuff like that. If we've got some corporate listeners and I know you probably both get both corporate donations and individuals, what do you want them to know about the program and the impact that they can have?
The impact you can have is it changed the lives of children in need. There are so many of our students who actually really rely truly on the services we provide for them. And since we are around the calendar, 365, any donated items, any monetary donations go directly to serve the kids here in Round Rock.
In their community, yeah.
In their community. No one draws a paycheck. Everything fuels the program as it is.
Do most people even realize the extent of the food insecurity from their perspective, from what they're seeing with their kids, even if they have kids in school?
Nope. It's not even sometimes on people's radar. I've been asked, what do you mean there's food insecurity in Central Texas? What do you mean there's food insecurity in Round Rock? We're a very affluent community, and that is a fact.
Yeah.
But there are many, many students who don't have the promise of a next meal, and it's real. So we hear lots of stories about food insecurity, and even me, I was like, wow. There's a child very close to here that it was until a few days ago sleeping on the floor right here in Round Rock. Mother not putting enough food on the table. She's being helped. Now she also has beds because we like to work alongside and partner with lots of other organizations. That's how we get it all done. Through one of the counselors at a Round Rock ISD school, we directed her to Heavenly Beds.
Yep, they're a wonderful organization.
Wonderful.
Yep.
And those children now have beds to sleep in rather than sleeping on the floor. That word together keeps coming up. That word community keeps coming out. It's about community ensuring that those of us who are in jeopardy can be successful in their futures by fueling them today. And
you obviously keep busy because this is quite a task to take on, but you still find time to serve as an ambassador for the Round Rock Chamber. Tell me, being the chair of the chamber, I'm honored that you're part of it, but I'm curious what the decision was to say, yeah, I'm going to devote, because I have so much free time, more time to helping support the business owners in the community. Yes, becoming a Round Rock ambassador has been one of the best decisions I made, both personally and for Hope Round Rock. It is my goal that whenever I can't or won't run Hope Austin anymore, that Hope Round Rock can walk. And the chamber and the ambassadors have helped those walking legs help me grab hold by my hands and put what we do out there on a platform for everyone to see so that we can together make sure our kids are well nourished, because it will come back that these kids will be part of this community. And I've met such wonderful people, and they've been so welcoming, including you. Thank you so much. And it's been just a joy to be a Round Rock ambassador. I'm curious because you met your husband in law school, but you're not doing law. Are there any parts of you that go through this day to day and say, yeah, maybe I should have stuck with law, or maybe if I was using that law for making this advocacy for kids, like, do you regret not being in that law field? I mean, I know a lot of ex-lawyers. That's why I'm curious. Do I regret it? I mean, obviously, law school was good because you met your husband.
Yes. Oh, totally. Yes. The very first day. Yes. And I was like, okay, you weirdo. But no, I don't regret it. I think it wasn't necessarily planned that I wouldn't be an attorney the rest of my life. It was just a course of events that happened. And was it hard at first? Yes. But law school is such a great way to go and learn. It teaches you to think differently.
Yes.
That shades of gray that we live in is essential. The thinking lessons that you learn in law school are great for whatever you carry forward from that law school to career. I did love my law school career, my practice of law.
Yeah.
Because I got to help battered individuals. And I loved that. So when I had to step away from that, I was sad for a little while. But then I found my new place, and it was good. So I think my law school career and my career as a lawyer helped me be able to found Hope Austin, Hope Round Rock.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm curious, between you and your husband both being lawyers, if you have an argument, who's the better litigator here?
Oh, me, 100%. And he will say, yes, dear.
Then you must be winning.
Yeah, he's kind.
And is he also currently doing law?
No, he stepped back before I did.
Oh, okay.
He was what we'll call death and dying, wills and estates.
Yep.
Worked for high power firms, but he just didn't like it. So he asked me, what do I do next? And I did tell him, and he did it. That's where Panera comes in.
Yeah, and that's where I was going to go, because now your son is leading your Panera franchise. And that's a very challenging thing I want to kind of go into, talking about wills and estates, passing a business to a child or working with a family as well. What were some of the biggest takeaways that and lessons you can share with others to make that successful? Because lots of times husband and wives don't work very well together for a long time. And then second of all, passing on to the next generation, that's also struggling. And you guys seem to be thriving with that.
Yes. Well, Mark, in all honesty, Mark was running the Panera businesses. I had my own aspirations that I was working on the side, raising my kids, being part of the community and PTAs and that kind of thing.
No surprise there.
Yes. And then I was his sounding board.
Yeah.
And we'd mesh our ideas, and then he'd take them out to Panera. We always told our kids, we will never rob you of your purpose. It is your responsibility to go to college and make your own path, your own careers. We do not hand over anything to our children. They both got college degrees. Nicholas actually is about to, my oldest, graduate from medical school on May 30th.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. And then my youngest did a little bit of other things out of college, was not fulfilled, wasn't happy, and he asked Mark, may I come and work with you? And Mark said, absolutely, start at the bottom. And that's where he started. Then he ended up going to the managerial process in St. Louis, did a little bit of that, and then started working along side by side with Mark, learning a lot of lessons, and to where very recently he was promoted to president of the company. And my husband was wanting to step back anyway, and he was very grateful that one of his sons would want to take over, because that's not always the case. And then this year, Alex learned how to create the business from the ground up by himself, because he just finished and opened his very first store with Mark standing back watching and being that sounding board that my boys witnessed growing up.
Yep.
And taking something by the horns and getting it done.
So it's almost like reverse undercover boss. He had to kind of live through it all.
Yes.
Didn't realize he was going to be a boss. When you watch those episodes, you often, they get a moment of enlightenment about a job they didn't realize. Was there part of the job that he realized he really sucks and hates, but it's so critical to the business?
That's a good question. And I don't know the answer to that question.
Oh, okay.
I do not know. Yeah, I don't know the answer, but I will ask him that when I see him later this week.
Yeah, I'd be very curious, because obviously that's not, again, I've watched hundreds of episodes of Undercover Boss. I've had friends.
I've seen a few.
I've had friends on there. And yeah, that's that one conversation you have with the dishwasher, with one of the managers, that all of a sudden you realize, wow, they're doing stuff I didn't even realize was so important. And that's why I'm curious, because he kind of did them all, but now he's back in that role. What's the lesson you hope that he never forgets?
That as a leader, we set the tone by our example. And for me, it's also, I would never ask I would never ask somebody to do something I wouldn't do. Regardless of your position in the company or any business, you have to be willing to do everything that it takes for that business to run. I throw the recycle and the trash at Hope Boston, Hope Round Rock every day. Yesterday, my friend came in and I was mopping. She goes, "You're mopping?" I go, "Yes, I'm mopping." The business in totality is your responsibility, and it's all of us together, whether it's employees, leadership, it's a together endeavor.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part, that a lot of leaders struggle with, when they're trying to pass off responsibilities and they don't understand, what exactly it looks like. So they may have a hard time delegating. And then other times they may struggle delegating because they want control of it all. And just that balance point's really difficult for a lot of business owners.
It is. It is hard to delegate. Because sometimes you just think, it's just easier for me to do it.
Yeah.
But that teaching moment is essential. And that's what will keep the business running when you're not there and you can't always be there.
A lot of people who probably listen to this have heard, the power of community. It's obviously a big theme of the podcast. We've had some amazing guests talk about this community and the impact we had and the vision we have. Maybe they don't have the financial resources to give, but are there other ways that they can contribute to the community or contribute maybe to Hope Austin to feel like they're making that kind of impact that you've been blessed to be able to make?
Absolutely. We're always looking for volunteers. Our shifts are an hour and a half. You come in, create a kit in a safe, comfortable environment. We put on some great music. It can be like a dance party. Jokes are told. Or if you're looking for driving to our many schools here in Round Rock, we will be looking for new drivers because we are having a few drivers step off this next school year because of health issues and stuff. Drivers are always needed, even if it's just on a sub position. Or if you have a particular skill that you think you want to share with me, ideas, we are always open to new ideas to help us run more efficiently.
And age groups that can volunteer with you?
We have children as young as 5.
Okay.
Come in. It's not like rocket science. They can grab a bag and start to fill it. They may need a little help. Do they last an hour and a half? No. If they can volunteer for 30 minutes, that's a win.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then just being part of it is a big part of it.
Absolutely. They are learning by example from their parents, serving together as a family is a gift.
If people want to learn more about how to get involved, to learn more about how they support you in any way, whether it's through time or resources, or maybe we've got a lot of CPG companies in the area that are developing great new food products that might be great. What would be the best way for them to connect with you and ask you questions and maybe tap into some of your wisdom?
So email is always good. It's Monica at hopefораustin.org.
Yep.
Or you can also, if you email me, we give you my phone number. Happy to chat with you online or chat with you on the phone anytime.
Yeah, or definitely come to some of the Round Rock Chamber events because
absolutely
you will definitely see Monica there.
Yes.
Monica, thank you so much for everything you do for our community.
Thank you for having me. And again, it's a together endeavor.